Well, hello, welcome again to a reading of Odyssey Book 4, and I got up to, I think, line 65. And so Menelaus here is speaking to Telemachos and Pisistratus. So he's welcomed them in, and he's sat them down to have some food. He hasn't asked who they are yet, but we continue on. Her Svator, thus he spoke. Kai spin no taboos para piona thaken opt en kersin helone. And now the para is Temesis or preverb with tithemi here. So he placed beside them, and the spins for spisi, so for them, literally the nota, the backs of the ox. So this is sometimes called the kine, K-I-N-E, the kine of the ox, having taken from helone from hyreo, aorist root is hell, having taken roasted meats, I think, for the optar, enkersin in his hands. So having tasted, probably agrees with the nota, having taken them roasted in his hands, which parthesin, this is from para and tithemi, so it's the same verb as here. They had placed, and the hoi goes with the autu, it's quite emphatic. So which they, that presumably is the servants, had placed before he himself, Gera, as a gift of honour. So it's emphatic here that they, the servants, have given him, to Menelaus, these gifts of honour, and he's now passing them on to his guests. Now we get two stock lines here from Homer. Hoi dep one ath hetoima pro kai mena kairas ialon. And they, the main verb is, this is from ialo, it's the imperfect here, to put forth. Used in this particular set phrase here. So they put forth their keras, their hands, to the oneat, so this is a neuter plural, to the victuals, to the food, hetoima, which had been prepared, lying before them. Ater epe posios kai ede tuos ex eron hento, another stock phrase in Homer. So, but when, now the X goes with the verb which is hento from hiemi, and eron is desire. So when they had, released, when they had given up their desire, these are genitives for drink and for food. So these are two genitives here. This is from posis, connected with pino, it's from the same root. So when they had, exhausted their desire for, given up their desire for drink and food, de toti Telemachos, at that time Telemachos, pros ephonee, addressed the son of Nestor. This, of course, is Pisistratus. Anki scone kephalain, hiname poi oi ath hoi alloy. Literally, having held, this is a participle from echo, having held his kephale, his head, near, that is near to Pisistratus, hina may, lest, so in order that the others might not perceive. Now the ath here is from ato, and that's a sonant n here, turning into an alpha. So it's an optative. It's an optative from punthanami, but the ending here would be an Attic nto. So it's a third person plural. And then the hoi is aspirated, the tor, and the o is the omicron has elided. So in order that the others might not perceive. So this is in fact a third person plural optative aorist. Middle from punthanami. Phrasdio nestoride. To imo kekarismene thumo. So, O Nestor, the one, well, it's almost dear or beloved to my soul, that by this stage become very close friends. So, O son of Nestor, you who are dear to my heart. Phrasdio, well, it can mean to speak, but it can also mean to think or to look at, behold, contemplate, to take note of. The steropane, the brightness of the bronze, the shining of the bronze. Cad for kata, the alpha's elided, and then the tor becomes a delta before the other delta. So this cad for kata, about the echoing houses. So he's very impressed by what he sees. So he says, take note, O son of Nestor, beloved to my heart, of the sterope, the brightness, the shining of the bronze about the echoing houses. Probably plural for singular, echoing house, we'd say in English. Crusu electru, of gold and of electrum. This is a precious substance. And of silver and of elephantos, from Eliphas, and of ivory. Pu, perhaps, toi adi, such in fact is the aule, the courtyard of Olympian Zeus, endowthin within. Hossa tad aspete pola. Hossa, possibly for something like hotta hossi, because there are so many things here, so many countless. The word can mean inexpressible, or there are so many countless things here. So such untold wealth is here, is one way of putting it. And the tadi is deictic. So it's literally as many of these things, there's so many of them, and they're unspeakable, or countless. So I just paraphrase this, I think, as such untold wealth is here. Sebas, sebas is a hard word to translate. It means a sort of deep respect or awe in the old sense. So awe holds me as I look on. Tu dagaruontos, sun etok xanthos Menelaus. So golden-haired Menelaus. Sun eto is from sun hiami, so he understood or he perceived him as he was speaking, as he was talking, from agaruo, and he addressed them, speaking, having spoken winged words. Teknaphil, dear children, e toixeni boton uk antis erizdoi. For surely, uktis, so any one of mortals would not vie with Zeus. So wouldn't challenge Zeus, would not vie with. So surely no mortal would vie with Zeus. For athanatoi, something everlasting or eternal, are his houses, the houses too of him, in fact, and his possessions. So iasi for asin. So for it's really the it's the verb to be. So andron de a ken tismoi erisitai, for so well now we get a but to compare it with. So but among men, either someone will vie with me, will try and match me, or kayuki, or he might not. Ktemasin held over to the next line in terms of possessions. Ega polypathon kai pol ep alethes. egegomen en neusin kai ogdo ate to etai eothon. For, indeed, having suffered many things, pathon from pasco, and now this verb here is ep-alethes, it's from ep-ala-amai, if you're looking at it. Ala-amai, and it's a compound, ep-ala-amai, means to wander about. And I've wandered about, pola is adverbial, muchly. This is from ago, it's the aorist middle. I brought in my ships I brought them in my ships. So we've got to supply something for this. We're not told what they are. We've got to understand the possessions, I think. So I brought these possessions, understood, in my ships, and I came in the 8th year. Ete, dated from etos. We get this participle repeated, having wandered in Cyprus and Phoenicia and and in Egypt. And I came to the Ethiopians, the Sidonians, and the Eremboi. And Libya, Hina, now this is that other use of Hina, meaning where the lambs, telethusi, well, they grow, from teletho here, they grow their horns, karaoi, so where the horns grow. Afar means, well, something like soon or at once. So it's probably, this is all very quite magical, so it may mean that they're born with horns. So where the lambs grow horns immediately. For the mela, the sheep, now this is new to plural, so singular verb. For the sheep give birth 3 times, telesporon as eniauton. This is in the full course of a year. Again, it's sort of idiomatic, the telesporon, carrying to the end, so in the full course of a year. Enthemen ute anax epidues uti typoimen teru kai kreon udi gluceroi o galactos. And there no man nor any shepherd in any way, epidues, is lacking in turoi, this is cheese and meat, nor in sweet milk, gluceros, sweet, and gala and galactos, milk. It's a genitive here. Both, this is the other oio genitive and this is third declension genitive. But continually, parakousi, they provide, that must be referring back now to the sheep, so even though it's new to plural, it's plural verb here, but they provide etanon, all year round, gala, milk, thighs from thao, to suck. So they provide milk all year round to suck, that hence to extract the milk from them. Eos ego perikane apollon biotan son ageron aloiman. And now we get eos and teos. So it means while they're doing something, meanwhile something else is happening. So while I was wandering around, this is from that alamai again, while I was wandering around gathering together much livelihood, much or many possessions really, many goods, perikana, probably idiomatic for around about those places that he'd mentioned above. So while all that was happening, meanwhile, someone killed Epiphne. This is an aorist from an old, it's a reduplicated aorist from an old root pheno, to kill. It's a verb that you don't see appearing, you only see the forms of it. So someone else slew my brother, the Delphion boy, Lathra, in secret. Anoisti, it's a funny word. It's only here in Homer. It means perhaps unlooked for or unexpectedly. The root of it is oio, or oiamai. So not, and we've got an alpha privative and a linking nu. So unexpectedly, unlooked for. By the trickery, by the guile of his destructive wife. So this, of course, is Clytemnestra. And the brother, of course, is Agamemnon. Hos toi chiron tois dictiasin anaso. Thus, not indeed, happily, this is literally rejoicing, so happily do I rule over these possessions. Kai pateran tardi melet aku emen. Well, this is slightly ironic here, speaking particularly to Telemachos, because he says the melete is likely to. So you are likely, and we get an infinitive here from akua, you are likely to have heard of these things from your fathers. Well, Pisistratus might have, but Telemachus not. Hoitines humin asin, whoever they are for you, so whoever they are. Epe malapola epathon, since I have suffered very many things, and I apolesa, I lost my house, eumala naeta onta, something like the one which was dwelt in very well. So the one being very well lived in. Kekan dota. This is it's a perfect participle here. There's a verb kandano, and the root of it is cad, although you've got the nasal infix still here in this perfect participle from kandano with a chi, meaning to contain. So having contained many lovely things, pola kai estla. You often get two adjectives in where we put them together without a chi in English. So many and good. Hon ophelen tritatein per ekon endomasi moiran, and then naya in the next page, of which, now the ophelen is that would that I, having in a third, in fact, so the third portion, I should say, that the tritatein goes with moiran. So of them, would that I had only a third portion endomasi in my house. Nyae, the next page, to dwell. So would that I only had 1/3 of them to live in my house. But the men, these men, to be infinitive from like anai, but the men to be safe, the men who at that time perished from Olumi in broad Troy, Hecas, far from horse rearing Argos. The bot is like that word in our word botany, so horse feeding. Horse feeding is probably better. Horse feeding Argos. This is a genitive after Hecas. And that is the next section of Book 4.